What if I told you that, well, everything you've been taught about empath burnout is fundamentally wrong? I mean, if you're someone who feels things deeply, you've probably been warned, right? You've been told your empathy is, I don't know, a liability? A sponge that soaks up the world's pain, leaving you drained and exhausted. But, and this is what really shocked me when I looked deeper, recent science, combined with the profound wisdom of psychologist Carl Jung, it reveals a completely different story. Stay with me because what I'm about to share will completely reframe how you protect your energy, not by building walls, but by understanding what's really going on inside. So for years, the narrative has been pretty simple, More empathy equals more burnout. It just seems to make sense, right? If you care more, you hurt more. But this popular belief, it doesn't actually match the evidence. But get this, a massive meta-analysis, I'm talking over 72 studies, more than 20,000 people, it found something pretty remarkable. It discovered that two key types of empathy, so the ability to understand someone's perspective and that feeling of compassion for them, they actually protect against burnout. Yeah, people high in these traits reported fewer burnout symptoms. So where does the myth come from then? Well, empathy is kind of an umbrella term, and there's one specific type that is linked to burnout, and that's emotional contagion. This is when you automatically absorb and mirror another person's emotions. It's the difference between seeing someone as sad and wanting to help versus suddenly feeling sad yourself for no personal reason. Think of it like this. A skilled surgeon has immense compassion for her patient. She understands their pain intellectually, but she doesn't literally feel the searing pain of the incision in her own body. If she did, well, she couldn't do her job. She'd be incapacitated. Have you ever walked away from a really tense meeting or maybe a conversation with a stressed out friend and you feel their anxiety buzzing in your own chest? That right there, that is emotional contagion. That's the real energy leak. You see, it's not your compassion that's the problem. It's the unconscious merging. But wait, there's something even more surprising. Why are some of us so prone to this emotional contagion in the first place? I mean, the science gives us the what, but Carl Jung's work, wow, it gives us the breathtaking why. Jung had this revolutionary idea about the human psyche. He called it the shadow. And the shadow, it isn't evil. No, it's simply all the parts of ourselves that we've disowned or repressed, usually in childhood. It's the anger we were told was bad, the vulnerability we were taught was weak, or the creativity we were told was silly. We push these traits into the dark, out of our conscious awareness. So what happens to these disowned parts? We project them. We start seeing them everywhere, in everyone else. And this is the key. When you find yourself getting extremely drained by a specific person, Jung would suggest you're not just absorbing their energy. No, you are having an intense unconscious reaction because they are mirroring a piece of your own shadow back at you. I once knew someone who was constantly exhausted by their manager who was just always playing the victim. She thought she was just being drained by his negativity. But through some deep inner work, she had a breakthrough. She realized that his helplessness was triggering her own repressed feelings of victimhood from a difficult family situation, a part of herself she absolutely hated and refused to acknowledge. She wasn't carrying his baggage. No, his baggage was just rattling the lock on a closet where she kept her own. Wow. It's a powerful question to ask yourself. The people who drain you the most, what is the specific emotional flavor? Is it anger, helplessness, arrogance? Is it possible that that emotion is something you've forbidden within yourself? It's like your psyche is holding up this giant, obnoxious neon sign, right? Pointing to something you really need to look at, and you're just getting mad at the sign. So if the problem is our own shadow, are we just stuck being an emotional sponge until we're perfectly healed? Absolutely not. In fact, understanding this unlocks the true, incredible power of the sensitive person, a role Jung saw not as a victim, but as a catalyst for transformation. This brings us to the most important shift of all, moving from being an unconscious sponge to a conscious, what Jung might call a chalice or a witness. See, a sponge passively soaks up whatever it touches and becomes saturated by it. It loses its own integrity. A chalice, on the other hand, is a vessel. It can hold something, even something really painful or difficult, without becoming it. It can hold the contents, allow them to be seen and understood, and then it can be emptied, remaining whole and clean. This is the journey of individuation, of becoming a whole, distinct self. It's the difference between merging with someone's chaos and saying, I am not you. I see you're in pain and I can hold this space for you with compassion, but I will not carry this pain for you. This isn't cold or detached. It's the most profound form of love and respect. You honor their journey by not hijacking it, and you honor your own by maintaining your sovereignty. When you make this shift, your sensitivity stops being a liability and becomes your greatest tool. You become a mirror, not to be shattered by what you reflect, but to illuminate what is hidden. You become an awakener. Your very presence can give others a chance to see their own shadow, simply because you are no longer willing to unconsciously carry it for them. You're not there to fix anyone. You are there to be whole, and in your wholeness, you invite others to become whole too. So let's bring this all together. We've learned that it's typically not your empathy that's the problem, but a specific trait called emotional contagion. And from a Jungian view, this contagion is often a sign that someone is activating your own unacknowledged shadow. The path forward isn't to build higher walls, it's to transform from a passive sponge to a conscious chalice, to witness with compassion without merging. Now, I'm genuinely curious to hear from you. Have you ever had a moment where you realized, wait a minute, an emotion you were carrying all day didn't actually belong to you? I'd love to read about your experience in the comments. If this conversation sparked something for you, giving this a like is a great way to let me know. And be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so we can continue these explorations together. Thank you for your time and your attention. Be well.